Do not glorify the worthy, and the people will not compete. Do not value rare treasures, and the people will not steal. Do not display what is desirable, and the people's hearts will not be disturbed. Thus the sage governs by emptying minds and filling bellies, softening ambitions and strengthening resolve, keeping the people free from cunning and desire, so even the clever dare not interfere. Through effortless action, Wu Wei, all things find their natural order. Desire is the root of disturbance, the nature of desire. Spiritual insights from Chapter 3 of the Tao Te Ching. Desire is the root of disturbance, a simple yet transformative truth that serves as a profound mirror for spiritual seekers. It invites us to reflect on how desire shapes our inner peace, relationships, and connection to the natural flow of existence. Chapter 3 of the Tao Te Ching reveals that unchecked desire is the seed of all unrest, pulling us away from the stillness and harmony that form the foundation of spiritual cultivation. By delving into the wisdom of this chapter, we uncover a path to deeper clarity, balance, and alignment with the Tao. If this resonates with you, please subscribe and click the bell icon for more inspiring content. Let's first delve into the nature of desire. The nature of desire. Desire, at its core, arises from a sense of lack, a longing for something we perceive as missing. It manifests in many forms: the pursuit of material wealth, status, validation, or even spiritual attainment. While desire is an inherent part of the human experience, the Tao Te Ching warns that unchecked longing leads to inner turmoil and societal imbalance. Laozi begins Chapter 3 with a powerful insight. Do not glorify the worthy, and the people will not compete. Do not value rare treasures, and the people will not steal. Do not display what is desirable, and the people's hearts will not be disturbed. Here he reveals how desire fuels competition, greed, and unrest. When we glorify individuals or possessions, we stir a cycle of craving and comparison. This disturbance of the heart pulls us away from the simplicity and stillness that are the essence of spiritual cultivation. Desire, in all its forms, reflects our belief in incompleteness, an illusion that fulfillment lies outside ourselves. This belief drives us to seek satisfaction in transient things, whether through material success, external approval, or even spiritual achievements. Yet, the Tao Te Ching reminds us that true contentment does not arise from grasping at the external world but from aligning with the effortless flow of the Tao. When we chase what is desirable, be it wealth, recognition, or enlightenment, we create ripples of disturbance. Our hearts grow restless, our minds become clouded, and our actions are driven by striving rather than presence. This restlessness extends beyond the individual, shaping relationships and communities, fostering competition, envy, and division. However, the Tao Te Ching does not condemn desire. Instead, it invites us to recognize desire as a teacher, a mirror reflecting our disconnection from the Tao. By observing our cravings with awareness and detachment, we uncover a deeper longing, not for possessions or status, but for unity, peace, and wholeness. This is the heart of spiritual cultivation, not suppressing desire, but understanding its transient nature and returning to the stillness within. Thus, the teaching that desire is the root of disturbance becomes a gateway to awakening. It calls us to simplify our lives, release attachments, and cultivate a heart that is at peace with what is. It invites us to embody Wu Wei, effortless action, moving in harmony with life rather than striving to control it. For the spiritual seeker, this wisdom is a profound opportunity to turn inward, quiet the restless heart, and rediscover the peace that has always been present. By letting go of desire, we open ourselves to the boundless harmony of the Tao, where all things are naturally in order. In this stillness, we do not merely find clarity and alignment, we awaken to the deep, abiding joy of being at one with existence itself. The disturbance of the heart. Desire disturbs the heart because it anchors our attention on what we lack rather than what we already possess. It creates a pervasive sense of incompleteness, as if something essential is missing from our lives. This feeling of lack drives us to seek fulfillment outside ourselves, in possessions, achievements, relationships, or even spiritual milestones. Yet, this external seeking is inherently unstable, for the objects of our desire are transient, ever-changing, and ultimately incapable of providing lasting satisfaction. The Tao Te Ching illuminates how the pursuit of desire disrupts the natural harmony of life, both within and around us. When we glorify or chase what is desirable, we set in motion a chain reaction of disturbance. For example, competition. When we exalt the worthy or place certain individuals on pedestals, we create hierarchies that breed envy, rivalry, and division. The heart becomes preoccupied with comparison, measuring its worth against others, and losing sight of its inherent wholeness. Greed. When we assign excessive value to rare treasures or material possessions, we fuel a culture of accumulation and materialism. This not only encourages theft and exploitation but also distracts us from the deeper, intangible riches of life: peace, connection, and presence. Discontent. When we fixate on what is desirable, whether it is wealth, beauty, or status, we stir up a restless longing within. This longing keeps us perpetually dissatisfied, always reaching for the next thing, never fully present to the abundance that already exists in our lives. These disturbances are not merely external. They reflect a profound inner fragmentation. The restless heart, driven by desire, becomes like a turbulent sea, constantly churning, never at peace. It loses touch with the stillness and wisdom of the Tao, the natural flow of existence that underlies all things. In this state of disconnection, we are prone to anxiety, frustration, and a sense of emptiness, no matter how much we acquire or achieve. The Tao Te Ching invites us to recognize this cycle of desire and disturbance as a call to return to our true nature. The restless heart is not our essence. It is a conditioned response to the illusions of lack and separation. By observing our desires with awareness and detachment, we can begin to untangle ourselves from their grip. We can shift our focus from external seeking to inner cultivation, from chasing what is fleeting to embracing what is eternal. In this way, the disturbance of the heart becomes a doorway to deeper understanding. It teaches us that true peace cannot be found in the fulfillment of desires but in the realization that we are already whole. When we release the need to chase, compare, or accumulate, we reconnect with the stillness within, the quiet, unshakable presence that is our true home. This is the wisdom of the Tao, to find harmony not by adding more to our lives, but by letting go of what distracts us from the essence of who we are. By understanding the disturbance of the heart, we take the first step toward healing and alignment. We learn to live from a place of inner abundance, where desire no longer rules us, and the heart rests in the natural flow of existence. In this stillness, we discover the peace that surpasses all understanding, the peace of the Tao. The path to inner peace. The Tao Te Ching offers a profound remedy to the restless cycle of desire and disturbance, guiding spiritual seekers toward inner peace and alignment with the Tao. The sage, embodying the principles of the Tao, does not struggle against life, nor does he seek to control it. Instead, he flows effortlessly like water finding its natural course. His wisdom is not locked in abstract philosophy but expressed in the quiet simplicity of everyday existence. For those on the spiritual path, Laozi's teachings offer more than poetic insight. They provide a living practice, a way to return to harmony with the Tao. This return is not achieved through striving but through letting go. By transforming our relationship with desire, we clear the way for stillness, clarity, and a deeper attunement to life's natural rhythm. Principle 1. Empty the heart. Let go of what weighs you down. A cluttered heart is like a restless pond, its waters stirred by every passing wind, unable to reflect the light of the moon. To return to stillness, we must first empty the heart of attachments, fears, and distractions. Release attachments. Let go of the endless chase for external validation, wealth, and status. These are like mirages in the desert, forever shifting, never satisfying. Our true worth is not measured by what we acquire but by how deeply we align with our own nature. Create space for stillness. When we declutter the heart, we create an open space where peace can settle. The less we carry, the more freely we move. The less we crave, the more we can simply be. Spiritual practice, meditation, mindfulness, and inner reflection allow us to release the grip of worldly noise. In the silence, the Tao speaks, not in words, but in the quiet knowing that arises when the heart is still. Principle 2. Fill the belly, nourish the spirit with simplicity. Rather than chasing after empty cravings, we are invited to nourish ourselves with what truly sustains us, not the fleeting pleasures of the world, but the quiet joy of simply being. Nourish your essence. Instead of feeding the hunger for external things, turn inward. Find sustenance in presence, in gratitude, in the simple moments where life reveals its beauty. The fragrance of morning air, the warmth of the sun on your skin, these are the true treasures freely given. Cultivate contentment. The mind that always seeks is never at rest. But the one who appreciates what is already present finds abundance in every moment. When we stop reaching, we realize we are already full. Spiritual practice, a simple daily act of gratitude, whether journaling, quiet reflection, or offering thanks before a meal, transforms the ordinary into the sacred. In appreciating life as it is, we align ourselves with the effortless flow of the Tao. Principle 3. Weaken ambitions, move from striving to flowing. Ambition, when rooted in the ego, becomes a restless fire, always demanding more, never satisfied. But when we loosen our grip on ambition, we make space for something greater, effortless action. Soften the ego's drive. Striving for success, recognition, or control is like rowing against the current, exhausting and unnatural. The Tao teaches us to trust that life unfolds perfectly without force. Shift from striving to being. The tree does not struggle to grow, nor does the river force its way to the sea. Yet all things reach their fulfillment in due time. Likewise, when we surrender the need to push, we find that life carries us exactly where we need to be. Spiritual practice. Reflect on your daily actions. Are they driven by fear, by competition, by the need to prove yourself? Try surrendering. Let go of control. Act without attachment to results, and observe how life begins to flow more freely. Principle 4. Strengthen the bones, cultivate inner stability. While ambition must be softened, inner strength must be fortified. To walk the path of the Tao is not to be weak or passive but to be deeply rooted, like a mountain unshaken by the wind. Develop inner resilience, life will bring storms. True strength is not in resisting them but in bending like the bamboo, yielding yet unbreakable. Align with your true nature. A tree does not question whether it should grow toward the sun, it simply follows its nature. When we stop resisting who we are, we find an unshakable foundation within. Spiritual practice. Engage in grounding activities, whether it's qigong, yoga, or time in nature. Strengthening the body is also strengthening the spirit. The more rooted we are, the less the shifting winds of the world can disturb us. Principle 5. Release knowledge and desires, trust the flow of the Tao. The mind craves knowledge, believing that understanding everything will bring control. But the deeper truth is this: the more we cling to knowing, the farther we drift from wisdom. Let go of the need to know. Life is vast and unknowable like the great ocean. When we surrender the need to grasp it all, we find peace in simply floating. Embrace humility. The sage does not claim to be wise, he simply follows the natural way. By releasing the illusion of certainty, we open ourselves to a deeper, wordless knowing. Spiritual practice. Let go of rigid beliefs and allow yourself to dwell in the mystery. Cultivate a childlike wonder, seeing life not as a problem to solve, but as an unfolding miracle to experience. Returning to the Tao, the ultimate peace. To release desire is not to reject life, but to embrace it more fully. Without the burden of craving, we are free to dance with the rhythm of existence. Without the weight of attachment, we move lightly, effortlessly, with the grace of the Tao itself. When we empty the heart, we make space for peace. When we fill the belly, we nourish what truly matters. When we weaken ambition, we flow instead of force. When we strengthen the bones, we stand firm in our nature. When we release the need to know, we trust the unfolding of life. This is the path of the sage. Not one of struggle, but of surrender. Not of striving, but of being. Not of control, but of harmony. And in this harmony, we find what was never truly lost, the quiet, boundless peace of the Tao, the essence of spiritual cultivation. At its heart, the Tao Te Ching offers a gentle yet profound invitation to return, not forward into ambition or outward into endless seeking, but inward, back to the unshaken stillness at the core of our being. It reminds us that true peace is not found in the restless pursuit of desires or the accumulation of knowledge, but in recognizing and abiding in our inherent connection to the Tao, the vast, ever-unfolding rhythm of existence. By emptying the heart, we release the weight of attachments. By filling the belly, we nourish the soul with simplicity and contentment. By weakening ambitions, we unshackle ourselves from the need to prove, grasp, or control. By strengthening the bones, we root ourselves in resilience and inner stability. And by releasing knowledge and desires, we surrender to the wisdom that flows not from thinking, but from being. This path of spiritual cultivation is not about acquiring something new but about remembering, uncovering what has always been within us, the quiet, luminous presence of the Tao itself. As we walk this path, we come to see that peace is not a destination to reach after struggle, but a way of being, a state of effortless harmony with the eternal flow that underlies all things. The Tao Te Ching speaks to this timeless truth. He, the sage, governs by non-action Wu Wei, and all things are naturally in order. Likewise, when we cease resisting the natural order, when we surrender the illusion of control and allow life to unfold, we find ourselves moving in effortless alignment with the Tao. We begin to see that the deepest wisdom is not in mastering the world but in letting go, in becoming so still that the great current of existence moves through us unobstructed. This is the essence of spiritual cultivation, a journey not of striving but of returning to simplicity, returning to presence, and ultimately returning to the stillness within, where the boundless peace of the Tao has always been waiting. Conclusion: desire and spiritual awakening. Desire itself is neither good nor bad. It is simply part of the human experience. However, when it governs our thoughts and actions, it pulls us away from inner peace, trapping us in an endless cycle of craving and dissatisfaction. The Tao Te Ching does not call for rigid suppression or denial of desire, but rather for a shift in perspective, to recognize its fleeting nature and return to the stillness within. Instead of being controlled by desire, we can learn from it. Each longing, whether for success, recognition, or even spiritual attainment, serves as a mirror, revealing where we feel incomplete or disconnected. When we observe our desires without attachment, without grasping or resisting, we begin to see through their illusion. Beneath every desire is not a need for external fulfillment, but a deeper yearning to reunite with the Tao. In this way, desire is not an obstacle but a teacher. It points us back to our true nature, guiding us beyond fleeting wants toward the boundless contentment that arises when we align with the flow of existence. When we cease chasing after fulfillment and instead rest in the present moment, desire dissolves naturally, and what remains is a profound sense of wholeness, an awakening to the ever-present harmony of the Tao. That's all for this chapter. Thank you for watching. If you found our content valuable, kindly subscribe, click the bell icon, and share it with your friends. If you have any questions or suggestions, leave your message below.